All right, we are back again with Mr. Ebi. He's a constitutional lawyer. And
no, not like that. It's a firm of attorney which we do general practice. It's not just constitutional law. We do a lot of things, like I've said before. Divorce, criminal, civil, labor matters, all sort of general practice. So they mostly advocate and specialize, but attorneys, most of them are in general practice.
All right. But if you want to call in, you can call to 021-762-5190 or SMS to 45262. And you can ask Mr. Ebi any question, especially regarding law, because I know he's a
maybe my book mostly. I'm not an expert in any field of law yet. I'm busy with my master's degree, my LLM.
So how do you see the expert?
I don't know, but I try. I'm not an expert, but I try. Anybody put any question, I try my best. I'm like the smallest. I'm at the baseline, So.
Hey, come on! You're busy with your masters. So what are you doing in your masters? Is it also constitutional law?
I'm trying to analyze the right to have access to healthcare. South Africa focuses the right to have access to healthcare, while the international jurisprudence is the right to healthcare. So I'm trying to analyze that, the benefit, vis-a-vis why the people are not getting the benefit of healthcare laws in South Africa and things like that. So that's what my master's degree is all about. But I show the relationship between, can somebody survive with having access to healthcare without water? Can you survive without housing? Those kind of things like that. So it's something around that area that I'm dealing with.
All right. We also got a guest here today with us, Charles Alexander. Thank you for coming in. And you also have some questions that you want to ask our guest today. So go ahead.
Good evening to the listeners. I don't have a specific question. It's just a scenario I want to sketch and maybe get some information regarding that. Situation arises when you are a tenant at a house. You've been there for a while, and through the period of 2 or 3 years that you've been there, you've been changing jobs quite a bit, and in the end, being out of a job for a while, you couldn't afford the rental which you did pay before. And now there's a situation that an application has been launched for eviction. So what are your chances in stating your case when you get to the courts? When you have to appear, there are no elderly people with you, there are no people with disabilities, and there are no minor children with you. The only defense, or if I can call it defense, that you have is that you're unemployed. What are the chances, or what would you think the courts would say to that?
Well, you must realize that first of all, the property you're living at belongs to somebody else who must have worked and is maybe paying a bond to the bank.
Sure.
Now that person is in a bad position. The bank is not going to say, I have an unemployed tenant, so therefore defer the bond payment till when his situation improves, then I can pay. Now the law, the PI Act and a lot of other acts, prohibit the unlawful eviction of tenants from landed property or any other kind of property. Now that's one is a different thing which for you to evict somebody, you must follow due processes. Sure. A landlord cannot just come and throw your things out. But then, be that as it may, the tenant cannot say because I cannot pay and take advantage. You have to always plan for rainy days. That's why people should save. You can't go and take a house that you can pay. If you cannot, okay, maybe you make arrangement with your landlord or something. I don't know, maybe they will listen to you or something. But arbitrary eviction, the law prohibits that. The South African Constitution is clear on that. There are a lot of legislation on that and things like that. Nobody can just throw you out except they provide you with an alternative accommodation. But then some tenants, they take advantage of this. But you see, the landlord is looked at as a very bad person. But you forget some of these people, this is their business. They have to pay the bond. If they don't pay, the bank will take the property. And then he's going to be unemployed like you without a source of income. So when you refuse to pay your rent or rental or something like that, what you're doing, you're trying to put somebody in the position which you are in. So maybe you think of another alternative. You have relatives or somewhere else you can stay, or I don't know, or whatever you can do. But if you go to court, normally you can fight it as long as you want. The landlords have a right to evict you. All they need to do is to follow due process.
All right. And that that's also a problem when it comes to women also. When a woman comes and they don't have a place to stay, and they get that then they go stay with other men, and then they get abused because they know men knows that they can use people for their own benefits. But coming back to our discussion, because that is a discussion of the law of occupational.
Maybe let me help you. As we're dealing with things about the law now. I'll tell you a few other things. See, we're in the Western Cape now. It's happening in South Africa about most here. Like the BE things we're talking about.
Sure.
There are a lot of companies, some are white companies, that use black people as BE partners just to assess government contract. And they pay them salaries as employees.
Sure.
You go to the regional court, to the high court, magistrate court, you see the cases. You see people who've worked for 10 years, 20 years, they leave, they give them 40,000. They say, thank you, we are so nice. He says, gracious, that is like a gift to you. But this person, all relevant time, has been used as a BE partner to improve their credentials or standing, and then they get the contract and the person don't get anything. You're treated as an employee. So these are situations, the law is there, but you see, people don't have money to fight. And when you fight, these big companies, instead of settling these poor men or poor women that they use to get the money in the first place, they rather pay big firms, big law firms to defend the matter. They will pay millions. Rather than make an offer of a few thousands to improve the life of someone who have helped them to get to where they are,
But now, how can people actually? Because obviously, when I also hear of lawyers and I want to go to a lawyer, the first thing I'm going to worry about is money, because I see a lawyer and I see double S's, triple S's, and I know that lawyers are expensive. So where can people go, especially if they want to go and ask for help in the law side of everything? Where can they go? Besides now, you get your government subsidized legal aid. And there was people that went to the legal aid and they take their own time. Sometimes they don't even get representatives in the courts. So where can they go besides the legal aid?
Well, I wouldn't really say like most universities, like UCT, UNISA, Stellenbosch, all of those people, UWC, they have law clinic. What they do is they help people. They have Center for Immigration. Immigration. They have different facets, that they can help people. The thing is, that's what I'm saying. If you don't speak, if you go to the law society is the best place to go when you have problem and you can't pay your fees. One thing is, if you have a civil claim, some lawyers work on contingency basis. What that means is they work and take the fees afterward. If they win, they take their fees. If they don't win, well, sorry, too bad. You walk away, they walk away. It's a loss to both sides. Some lawyers do that.
Okay.
So even most firms, they will do that for you. If they see there's a claim, mostly sounding in money or something, they know they can. It's something that has to do with money or property or that kind of thing. So they will represent you on a contingency basis. So the legal aid, I can speak for them because I don't know much about them, how they operate, but they're trying. I see them, they plant them there in all courts. You go to mostly the criminal court, they deal with criminal matters, you see them there, but I think they're doing some civil matters. But I wouldn't say it's a tough thing. There's a lot of people and you have to qualify. Some people, they have money, they hide it, they go and burden the system, they tell legal aid, we can pay our legal fees, but they can afford to pay it, and legal aid wouldn't be able to check this thing out, and everyone will come to them. And then they help to punish those who cannot pay legitimately, who would need representation. They are denied that.
Because the thing is, that's what I understand is, if you take like someone like a drug lord to court, especially a woman that's been on the streets or maybe been living with a drug lord that has always been helping her financially and also with all that kind of bad things. I mean, if you take them to court, first of all, that girl's life is in danger because obviously she's going to be killed, and that drug lord's got money, and so he can go to you, that is the expert in law, that can get him free and all that kind of things, and that is where the problem sits with us today, and that's why a lot of women are afraid to go to court or even to go and report cases because the law don't support them, if I can put it in that way. Well,
I disagree with what you're really saying because I think the government, they're doing their best, okay? It's just they have witness protection program. If you're not there, you wouldn't know they have it. They protect witnesses, they protect complainants, you understand? They complain, if you don't go out there, the government wouldn't know what you're going through. First, you must go to the police and report. If you want protection, tell the police, I'm going to do this. They will be the better people, work with the prosecution and things like the MPA, they'll be able to look after you and do things like that. But you must know that the private attorney who practices for his own account, he has a lot of things to do. Remember, it's a business, just like every other business, like a doctor, like anyone you see, engineer, even whoever you see. You want to be able to pay your bills. So a lawyer is not like somebody who bases his practice on the Bible. You come and then he says, okay, yeah, you're from the church. You say, God will help us, let's do it. No, the law, the Constitution, that's what it bases on. So if you bring it and then you can bring him enough, he can fight for you or something, it's going to go out there. Sometimes people come and they don't give you all you need. How are you going to go to court and be able to do anything positive for them? You don't even trust your lawyer. And people forget that what you talk to your lawyer is privilege. A lawyer can never tell what you tell him. He dies with it. We carry these baggages for people and we don't even get paid for it.
Yeah, but that is a big issue that we have in South Africa at the moment. You know, because I've been sitting on the safety and security, and you know, every year we find out that 30% of cases, of rape cases and of child abuse and stuff are being kicked out of the other courts. Why? Is because the investigating officer might not have done his work as should have, or people have just withdrawn the case because of fear that they're going to be abused and stuff like that. And that is what we really need to work on, especially in South Africa. That is the side of my side where I come because I sit in legislature. And we're sitting every day with that problem. And you know, people need to know that they are safe. And where can they go to besides being to someone like a lawyer that can help them? But then most of the lawyers, I know they need a job, they need to find work and all that kind of things. But they also need to help someone.
Yeah, but you must realize that lawyers sometimes only get involved at a certain point. Some cases don't even get to where a lawyer will appear. You know, so they have to be dealt with at different level. They have shelters for women and children. If you are abused, you can. You know, there are a lot of areas. I don't have a list here that I can refer people to. But like I say, the Law Society is the best bet. If you are in a situation that you can handle, you can't afford to get a lawyer, you can't get justice or something, and they listen. You will go there and see what they are doing. I know there's room for improvement or something like that, but they're really doing their best for the people who can come forward and complain. First of all, you have to talk about it. Go to the police station, go to the Law Society, even walk into court. The clerk of the court, they're very professional. Some of those people, they know the ethics of the law more than lawyers. Sure. They've been there for years, it's experience. They will help you, they tell you where to go. So what you have to at least get out of where you're sitting and go out there and try to talk to someone. If you're afraid of the police, lawyers, Law Society, talk to your pastor or your imam or something. Maybe they know something. Maybe they can help you. Maybe they can tell someone who can help you somewhere. You know, because like what you say here, child abuse and women abuse is something that is shameful. And mostly the perpetrators are men. And they say is it 3 minutes or how many minutes one woman is raped in South Africa or something like that. It's shameful that we live here and things like this happen. And then when people get up, there's this campaign that's coming up and things like that. But what you must realize is some of these people, you have to hate yourself enough to be able to hate another person.
Sure.
You know, that's why you see sometimes when these people get convicted, the court order that they must go through psychiatric evaluation, they send them to mental institution or something. But it's not enough for you to go and abuse someone even if you have a sick mind or something. And there are men who just like little kids. They wouldn't go after women. There are a lot of women out there. If you try 2, 3, 4, 5, you find one for yourself. Why don't leave the children to grow up to become women? You know, like you've grown up to become a man. Some men will remove their blazers and give to a school child to wear and follow them to a hotel. Sure. The hotels too must stop. When you see something and you suspect, call the police. Sure. You're not doing. You're doing a favor to the society and saving that child. It's happening. People do it everywhere. So it's a tough thing, but it's happening. But first, in order to get a solution, we must talk about it.
Sure, no, definitely. In your book, you were writing, and then you said, men must respect a woman like they respect their mothers and their sisters. Why do you think that this is where men is not respecting a woman that they maybe their girlfriend or maybe the girl they're with? Because that is part. I think that was one part of your book also.
Yeah, you must know that 90% of the men you know today will never hit their mother or their sisters or daughters till they die. 90%.
Sure.
And 90% of the men today will, in their lifetime, hit a woman who is their girlfriend or their wife. And then you ask yourself, why? Because some men, it's a control issue. They want the woman to behave in a certain kind of way. Sometimes it frustrates men because the woman is achieving more than them. And I'm saying, if you don't like it, why don't you do something about it?
Sure.
Okay? My wife is more qualified than I am. She's almost done with a master's degree before she stopped. And when she had a degree, I didn't even have a diploma. I studied in South Africa. I did a diploma before I did my LLB. I'm doing my master's degree. So I wasn't happy with where I was. I'm like, okay, what do? I went to school. I didn't buy a degree. So if you think your wife is achieving more than you, instead of turning your anger on her, that's the problem. Men are insecure, a lot of them. They just feel, because she's earning more money. A lot of men are house husbands today. If you like that, you want to be that, well, that's your choice. But don't take it on the woman when she come home, she's wearing high heels, she's looking good, she wants to go out. There's a certain life, the people who work want to enjoy the fruit of their labor. They want to go out and have coffee, they want to do this, they want to do that. Well, you see, when you are not educated, a lot of people are insecure. There are things, they get hostile and aggressive. That's why education is key. You must go to school. It's never too late. There are a lot of schools there. And sometimes civilization mixed with people. Read books, read newspapers, read a lot of periodicals. It's going to help you.
Well, that's a fact. The community that I come from a colored community where we grew up with men beating up women. And we've seen it. Luckily, my grandfather was a church minister, and I've never seen my grandfather ever lift my hand for my grandmother, and that's how we grew up. But if you go out of your doorsteps and you see downstairs, because we lived in a block of flats, you see downstairs, then the man starts hitting the woman, and that's because of men has lost their self-respect to themselves. And
that's why I say you must hate yourself enough to hit someone else. Remember, when you hit someone, it's your body you used to hit.
Yeah.
So when somebody hits you, sometimes you should cook a meal and say, sorry for hitting me. Because he's the one with the issues. Men will tell you, if a man say to you, believe me, you're nobody without me. Cook for him. He's nobody without you.
Sure.
The problem is with him, it's not with you. They are the ones who are insecure, and then he try to batter you in such a point. when people tell you things continuously for a while, sometimes you begin to think, maybe it's the truth. Every day say you're nobody without me. And you sit there, for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in this relationship, sorry. And then you begin to think, okay, maybe it's true, I'm really nobody without him. It's a lie.
Sure.
He is no one without you. So when you hear someone who is so keen to tell you you're nobody without him, you should be able to know that's not where you belong. Get up. Maybe the real person that you belong together is just in the next street. Get out of that place and start walking. You're going to find your own somewhere.
We both are black men of Africa. The cultural issue that we have in South Africa, or Africa in whole, where woman has been seen as the lower form of society. How do you deal with that? Because you're a man that speaks out very strongly about this, where you believe that women as equal and stuff like that. How do you really deal with stuff
Okay,
like
I'll tell you this, alright? For instance, let me use you because people know you. I'm nobody. I'm not known anywhere. I walk down the street, I have peace. People don't even recognize me, and I like it that way. You have a doctorate degree, and you're from Manenberg. And now people say every colored person, you end up becoming a gangster. Now, why don't they talk about the good things that's happening in the colored society? Why can't they talk about people who have doctorate degree, the teachers, the lecturers with even first degree diplomas, people who are doing good? Why do they spend so much airtime talking about all these bad things that colored people are doing in the society? Black people are doing. Go to the Cape Flat, go to Kailicha, go to Langa, Kukuletu, all those ones. You see black people, all they do is they just do these BE things they do. But they are good people among South African men. They are good people who are doing things. You say there's no role model. You don't have to be a family member before it can be a role model to you. It's someone you can relate to. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be look at your teachers. These people are the people who've gone through it all. They can tell you. But you see, we go through these teachers, and once we're done with it, we look at them like, they're less than us. But you forget that what you have is what they gave to you, a little bit. They have a warehouse full of knowledge. They just take a little bit and give to a student. You come out tomorrow and you're lucky, you get a good job, you look down on them. I think this is just what we do mostly, like back in Nigeria, we're so close to our parents. Now, if you notice one thing, most men here, they don't like taking care of their kids. The pregnant women, they abandon them. Most foreign men, I'm not saying the South African men are bad, or the Nigerian men are better than them or something. But I'm saying a good number of Nigerians that I know, they have babies, they look after their babies and they stay with them. Most South African men, the whites do it, the colored do it, the black do it, the Indians do it, they pregnant women and dump them and then move to the next one. They don't even pay maintenance, they don't take care of these kids. So, but it's not that much in the African continent. The other part of the African countries, I mean, it's more prevalent here in the SADC region. I don't know why it's like that. Maybe that's why people abuse women. And another thing is why the statistic is high. People here report abuse. In other African countries, some of them don't report it. You understand? So it's a lot of things like that. The dynamics are different wherever you go, you know. So it could be a lot of factors. People who are expert in this field maybe will have the statistic to tell you exactly what it's like. I don't know much like that I can't really give you figures.
All right. We're going to come back to you because there is listeners that want to phone in and they want to ask you questions. But the problem is we just got a technical problem where people can't get through to our line. Okay. So people has been SMSing me and saying that they're trying to get hold of you to ask questions. So let's just find out how we can fix this problem because we want the listeners also to ask you the questions. Okay. And it's very important. All right. So we will just go for a music break and when we come back we're going to speak again to the Honorable Mr. Ebi.